right, hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Employer Brand Breakdown, where I realize suddenly I don't need to wear headphones. What am I doing exactly? Oh, hey, how you doing? It's another Friday, so that means we're here to break an employer brand down from the outside. Because why? Because that's how candidates see it. It's enough to have a great EVP and all that wonderful stuff, but if a candidate can't see it, that's what we're doing this for. So as a reminder, we're here to look at a single employer brand, look at what they're doing really well, and maybe make some observations, some suggestions on what could elevate what they're already doing. We're not here to beat anybody up. We're not here to, laugh at anybody. We're here to talk about the work, because that's really what we're here for. Ultimately, a strong employer brand is going to attract the talent we actually want. Remember, I tend to look at things not from how do I say things that will attract the most attention, or how to say things that will attract the most applicants. I think the job of employer brand is, how do you tell a story that will make the people you actually want to hire actually want to apply and actually want to work for you? I mean, isn't that what we're all doing here? Isn't it? I hope so. Anyway, just so we can do the thing, if you're interested in talent strategy or strategy of any kind, I got this free class right down there. It is on demand. So just go ahead and go to the URL, DIYemployerbrand.com/strategy, and get the class. It's free. It's ready to go whenever you are. Now, don't do it this second, but maybe while I'm talking, go take a look, check it out. Otherwise, I have all of my collected employer brand breakdowns here on YouTube, so go subscribe if you're not doing it. If you're not watching the live recording, you're already here, so you might as well subscribe. You might as well do the thing. I don't know if you need to hit a bell, or I don't get that. Just subscribe so you can get regular updates. We try to do these every Friday. Next week is Black Friday, and I'm teasing people and toying with this idea ultimately of doing a purely live, no recorded. So, I don't have to worry about anybody saying stuff or being recorded, saying something bad or whatever, and doing a bunch in a row. I haven't decided. So if you've got an employer brand, you'd like some less censored or less worrisome, if you want the raw impression right there, no prep, just looking at it, telling you what I see, ping me, hit me up on LinkedIn, hit me up on email, however you want to say, and say, this is a brand you'd like me to look at. If I get demand, I'll do it. Otherwise, I might skip next week. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, enough preamble. Let's get into the work, shall we? So I have to go share my screen. I have to click some buttons. I have to make the magic happen and find Pinterest. There they are. Now, Pinterest is a really interesting company because I did a social media audit about a year ago. I actually made a template and gave it away for free. Pretty successful, pretty interesting conversation. And I used Pinterest as my example of how to activate your brand well. Meaning, it's not that they were the best creative. It's not like they had the most amazing copywriting or the most amazing graphics, because that's usually how we judge these things, and that's wrong. What they had was some really, really powerful consistency. Not the sameness, but alignment around some very, very core ideas. And every single story, every single post, every single piece of content I saw tended to revolve around one of two big areas. And I thought that was really smart. It made it really clear what they were all about and why you should care. So let's go back. It's been a year, so let's go back. I haven't, I spent about 5 minutes kind of skimming, going, okay, I know what to look for, but I do some prep work here, folks. But I really haven't done a deep dive since then. Now, I would say last year, their social media was very support intensive. How they supported their people in every way, shape, or form. Every piece of content was about how they supported their people. Great stuff, powerful stuff, useful stuff. But, and I did this offline, I looked at their career site and I was like, oh, I expect to see more of this supporting stuff. And I found something different. It was really surprising. I found that all their content was about empowerment, how they empowered their people. Now, to be fair, supporting and empowering are not exactly two sides of the same coin. It's not the yin and yang. It's not, night and day. They aren't radically different things. There's some overlap, right? You can feel supported by being empowered, by being allowed to do great work, right? Isn't that really cool? Isn't that what we want to do here? So that's what I'm focusing on. So I'm really interested to see, where did they land? What did they talk about? So here we are on the Pinterest career site. And my first impression is, it's got a very 2020 vibe, right? There's a stylistic thing, the color palettes, the layouts. It's very 2020. And let's be fair, career sites are not exactly the hippest website in the world, right? They're not the most cutting edge technology or the most cutting edge design, but this does feel a little dated. This feels very WeWork in 2019, right? An aesthetic that was there that you saw everywhere, and you see it a lot less now, which is why it stands out. Now, I did a little diving in the code, and I can't see that it's a ready-made platform. It's not a Clinch or a Smashfly or anything like that. It is, I think it's homemade, which wouldn't be too surprising. Pinterest has a lot of developers, so they might have decided that. And of course, as we've talked about before, when you do in-house web development, it sounds great because you're saving all this money. But when it comes to making edits, those people are usually out busy making money for the company. They're not as excited to make changes for you. So consequently, you don't have as much direct access, or you as the owner of the employer brand of the website don't have as much direct access. And consequently, it tends to be a little staid. It tends to change much, much more slowly. So just putting that out there. Create the career you love. Search jobs by keywords. Now, what they're doing here is they're appealing to people who are ready to apply. They don't need to be sold. They know what Pinterest is all about, and they're ready to rock and roll, right? They're ready to make it happen, and good for them. Good for them. And, with Pinterest brand, it's a pretty well-known brand. Sorta. Now, here's what's interesting to me anyway. Pinterest is commonly thought of as the place where women, and I'm going to use lots of air quotes and air bunnies here, a place where women collect their wedding, lookbook. It's where they plan their wedding look, or they arrange their rooms. It's got a very female-centric history. Now, I'll tell you right now, that's not who they are right now. That's not how they've evolved over time. 5-10 years ago, absolutely. Now, no. And so I wonder if I knew that most people had a very particular impression or perspective on who this company was, wouldn't I spend more time changing that story, changing their narrative, giving them a different approach, instead of saying, oh, cool, you want to work for this site that helps women manage their wedding day lookbooks. Great, go apply. That's me. That's how I would say. I would say, look, in the instance of Pinterest, if I know that people have a misconception of what we do and why we do it, start there, solve that problem, or at least give people the chance to change their mind instead of going straight to the jobs. A lot of companies go straight for the jobs. I understand the impulse of saying, well, gosh, they want to work here. They already ready to apply. Let's lead them to it. I get that. That makes perfect sense, right? But in their instance, strategically, I'd have made a different choice. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, a wonderfully diverse crowd of very, very young people. Come on, fangs and companies who think they want to be fangs. Old people exist. This old person exists, and I'm only 51, and I'm not actually that old. These people are all clearly in their 30s and younger. Come on. You got to be careful of that stuff. Our mission is to bring everyone the inspiration to create a life they love, right? That's very empowering. We're here to help people create their own lives, and that includes their employees. Empowerment, focus. Look, second line, we empower our team. Empowerment. And I suspect we're going to see a lot of that empowerment stories here on the career site. We're proud to help people discover and do what they love. That's empowerment, right? Isn't that straight up? You got some founders. Again, the layout, so surprising, right? It just feels you know what it feels like? It feels like I'm looking at this on an iPad. It's got one column. It's nice and big. I can see it from space. It's got a certain aesthetic. Here are locations, nice pictures. Love the round corners, little bits, little doohickeys there. Headquarters in San Francisco, but globally 4,000 employees. I suspect that number is actually much higher. I suspect that's an old number. And then straight to, here's your job. Again, take action, take action, take action. You had 2 whole sentences, 3 if you want to count this headline, about how they're here for empowerment. Now, in all honesty, just this bit of content, this does more to frame who they are than like 100 other companies I can think of, all of whom are bigger and better known than Pinterest. I'm going to quibble for a lot of this, but they're already doing good work. Just understanding that we're here to empower our customers. We're here to empower our employees. Hey, look, there's a one brand kind of model. That's great stuff. And they're very clear about what they have. Now, are they proving it? Not yet. But they're staking out a space that I just don't see very often. Certainly not this clearly. So big points for this kind of stuff. Let's dig deep. So get to know the people behind the product. This looks like, it's an Instagram feed. An Instagram feeds, pretty pictures and very minimal text. So what am I seeing? Hey, look, young people. Hey, look, young people. Hey, look, young people. That's what I'm saying. And then we're looking for all kinds of people. Okay, I love a differently written, EOE kind of, or EEOC or whatever, the equal opportunity kind of text. I love that. I love when people rewrite it instead of the dry legalese that no one actually wants to read. But I'm going to just react. Not a lot of content on this page. Now, if I go here, let's go listen to some departments. I love that. That helps me kind of figure out specifically what this team's all about. Great, because I really want to learn about design or HR or where we got marketing. Let's go to design because let's be fair, Pinterest generally known as a very design-heavy company. So they're clearly going to invest in their design. I feel like this is a joke. I feel like this is like an in joke that I'm not privy to. I don't quite get what this is. Pictured right, a photo where a Pinterest employee feels inspired. And then there's no content. It's just jobs. Okay. Well, maybe engineering. Everybody needs an engineers. Must be a joke, right? Like maybe someone can tell me. This feels so jarring, right? I'm on the homepage. I'm excited for Pinterest, but I want to learn more. And I start on the navigation, the most left-hand navigation, meaning the thing Pinterest wants me to see. And what do they want me to see? A photo that has no information and a weird line that means nothing that they've really copied in multiple places and straight to jobs. This site is so heavy on get you to the jobs. It's really surprising. Again, not the strategy I would have taken. So maybe locations are different. Okay, there's a little more content here, and I'm going to go to Chicago because I'm in Chicago, and that's what I do. Time to thrive in the Windy City. Yeah, it's the Windy City. We know. Okay. There's not a lot of there. Again, interesting design, a tad dated, but interesting. I like it. I'm not going to go, it's bad. But it's not saying much. Go beyond work-life balance. Okay, yes, I do. I'm clicking. Ain't nothing there. Be part of a brand. No, there's nothing here. This is a little disappointing. For such a good, strong frame of who they are, so much of their content is just get me to apply. I'm going to skip early career. And here we go to the fun stuff. Life at Pinterest, our culture. Now, again, for me, I would assume that the first job here is to frame Pinterest as a company. And you don't do that by posting jobs. You do by posting this content. I would have moved this content way up front. Frankly, I would have found good stuff like this and stuck it on the homepage. Why is it buried? It feels like it's missed. It feels like they didn't know what to do with it. And I'd love to understand either the persona development or the user experience conversation they had that led to this kind of conversation. I'm not saying they're wrong and I'm right. I'm saying from the outside, I'm surprised. But again, they may be privy to information I'm not privy to. I don't know what's going on. Core values, put Pinterest first. I like when you have your own vernacular. I also think is it off-putting? Is it confusing to say, why is my light blinking? I'm going to turn that off. Shush. This is the magic of live podcasting, or as it were. Okay, so let's continue. Is it off-putting to have this all the insider detail? We all know we're not supposed to use jargon and vernacular, but maybe it does something here. Yeah, I'm up for debate here. I could see it the other way. Create belonging. Okay, great, good stuff. Act as one. You can't tell me that that's not stock photography. I mean, who's taking that shot? Really, that's clearly stock photography. Win or learn. I like that, but it's very much leaning into we're empowering and we're supporting. Inclusion and diversity, Pinterest inclusion groups or Pinclusion groups. Like this stuff, benefits, not clickable. I wish I was more information than just saying, hey, we have benefits, because that's really what this says. Hey, we pay for your insurance, or at least some of it, or at least we offer it. And I need more information than that. That doesn't fly these days. Given how expensive insurance is, that doesn't fly. But mental health benefits, personal professional development benefits, that's great. But is it, hey, we offer a class on how to be a better manager, or we're going to give you up to $5,000 to go take a college course on something? there's a lot in between there, right? It's trying to say a lot, but it's missing some pieces. From the blog, again, nice, good content, featured initiatives. This is doing a great job supporting their culture. Why it's not more forward facing, I could not tell you. I could not begin to guess. Here's our culture. Oh, that was our culture. Life at Pinterest. So this is the blog. It's got an aesthetic. It's got tags so I can go search for stuff. That's nice. It just feels over here. It just feels like it's siloed over in this other space where I don't understand how to connect the dots. And since it's busy, very busy, trying to get me to apply to jobs, am I ever going to see this? I'd love to see their analytics to say, how do people respond to this kind of design? Now, how do you not love that photo? I mean, come on, that stupid pin thing, way to run with it. And it's a really interesting photo and it's an interesting space. You got to love it. But this is the tech side blog, which is great because, again, Pinterest thought of as where women do blah, 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 right? And it's not. It's clearly something different. And it's on a Medium site, which is interesting. Actually, that's not, I'm not too surprised because a lot of companies go, we want this corporate tech blog and it's going to take 6 months for someone to make it. So we'll just throw it on Medium and link to it. That's pretty common. I don't have a problem with that. Join our talent community. I'm not even going to get into that because that takes a lot of deep diving. Projects, publications. I love showing the work. I love showing the work. It's, great. Again, this layout, killing me. It's just missing opportunities here. We got 300 billion human curated ideas. I guess that means boards. Pinterest is the largest image-rich data ever assembled. And see, this is the story I would want to tell way up front, right? This is what we're all about. But they're decided to eschew this stuff to kind of focus on really nice. And it just feels disconnected. It feels missed opportunities. Machine learning stuff, computer vision stuff. This is some really cutting edge stuff. And there's going to be an audience of cutting edge developers who feel like the move fast and break things model of companies who will remain nameless isn't for them. They want a place to be empowered and supported. And that should be exactly where Pinterest lives. They're just, like I said, I've said it before, as my mother would say, it's hiding their light under a barrel or under a bushel or whatever you want to call it. Missed. So good ideas. It's just not presented as well as I'd like. So let's jump over to the the LinkedIn. Let's jump to that tab. Yep, you can see it. And we go look at some posts. Let's see if they're still as good. And not only are they as good, but are they still focused on supporting where the career site's very focused on empowerment? So we go to most recent. And we've got I'm assuming ML is machine learning day. Yeah, machine learning conference. So, tech heavy. Hey, we're learning stuff. Could be empowerment, could be development. Hard to say. A safe place for our Pride Pin Inclusion group. That's support, very, very support. And I think they're doing a decent job here. This is a nice quote of really kind of saying exactly what they're up to and what they're building. I mean, when I talk about specific, attractive, different, and real, this is the kind of stuff I'd like to see. They're really not just saying we like, LGBTQ people. It's not a check in the box. It's no, this is what we're all about and this is what we care about. Could they have gone farther? Absolutely. Could everyone? Yes. Keep going. Now it's Veterans Day. Very support oriented. Great big quote. They're not doing that thing where they talk about, hey, it's Veterans Day. Click here to see our really measly blog that says very, very little that probably won't link to anyway. They're putting it in the post. And I really appreciate that. I think that's a really smart way to play that. Pinterest spent a lot of time thinking about inspiration. That's interesting. I mean, isn't that on brand, corporate and connected to empowerment, right? If you're empowered, you should also be inspired to be empowered, inspired to try new things. That's a great idea. That's a great connection. It feels, let's see, I'm just going to do. Yeah, this is a great post where it's like, is this for investors? Is this for potential prospects and candidates? Is this for potential buyers? What is this for? It's really nice. It's that one kind of brand mentality that says one post is around a core idea, but it serves multiple audiences, not just candidates, not just consumers, but both, and even investors and et cetera, et cetera. Pinspiration group leadership retreat. That's got to be the biggest challenge of working at Pinterest, is putting pin on everything you say. It's like Smurfs. Going to smurf you in the Smurf, but no, down by the Smurf. I mean, it's very pinny. It's very pinny. Not punny, pinny. Stay tuned for more content about the pin inclusion and pinspiration groups coming soon. Yeah, it's a fuzzy bunny post. It's saying not much, but hey, good, nice content here. Inspiration. I like that they're leaning on this word inspiration. That's probably part of their core brand, but they're weaving it into places that you might not expect. And celebration of Native American Heritage Month, support, support, support. So here they've veered away from pure support and kind of leaning into a support empowerment, kind of bicameral sort of situation where both sides of it are doing that. It's useful. And I think it does a better job connecting to what's happening on the career site, which is so empowerment heavy. So I'm just going to wrap that up by stop sharing and just show me. Hi, how you doing? There we go. All right. This lighting is atrocious. Sorry. What's wrong with my light? That's Pinterest. Good content. It's just buried. And I know that there's an instinct that says if they want to apply, let them apply. But the truth is, if they want to apply, would they come to the career site homepage? Wouldn't they do that on a job board or LinkedIn where they're going to find these jobs in a search anyway? Again, I'd love to see the analytics that says otherwise, but that would be my first instinct. So what I would do if I had the magic pin, right? See what I did? I would just say, how do we bring as much of that buried content way up front? Make it a little tighter. You've got plenty of room. Use it. Take advantage of it. I know there's an aesthetic that leaves lots of white space. That may have gone the other way. That may have been too white space oriented instead of content oriented. So that would be my first thought. Also, the more you can connect that LinkedIn channel and honestly put more content in Instagram that isn't just, hey, we're pretty big people doing a thing. How do you make it more actionable? And that would be super useful. Those would be my big takeaways. So with that, thanks so much for watching. If you've got a company you'd like me to take a look at, a brand to break down, let me know. Otherwise, find me on YouTube, like some stuff, watch some stuff, subscribe to stuff, and I will see you probably next week. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you later.